most humble salutation at Masai's loving feet and a very warm, loving Sairam to all of you. It's my great fortune to be here with you all today, and I hope my experiences that I'm going to share with you will make you as happy and positive as I have been experiencing them all through. So, in today's interaction, I'm going to be sharing about somehow very simple and profound learnings that we got at a very secured environment while at Anantapur campus, which have helped me to practically face the challenges thrown by the outside world. So it's like Swami has prepared and groomed us to what they say as fitting square pegs in round holes. So when we joined the Anantapur campus, there were certain hostel duties that we were expected to carry out, something like chapati and puri rolling, vegetable chopping, and there was a huge coconut garden, so watering the coconut garden, and besides many more. So, as is normal in any institution, there were some girls who were not very happy with these tasks to be carried out, and there were like kind of some complaints that we have come here to study and not do all these things. And I, being youngest in my batch, I was all of 14 and a half at that time and joined there after my 10th standard, and others would be around 15, 15 and a half. So it was very obvious that such complaints reached our warden, and she decided to address all of us after our evening prayer session one evening. And she explained to us and said that it's not that hostel authorities do not have the resources to get these tasks done, but there is a value system behind all these tasks. And she went on to explain that whenever you are rolling chapatis or puris, consider that you are expanding your hearts. Whenever you are chopping vegetables, consider that you are cutting your egos. So, who would have thought that messages as simple as this could turn into the biggest strength when it came to facing difficult bosses or colleagues, or even so much so when one is likely to get a little attitude or overconfidence on accomplishing some big tasks or at your professional level. So of course, yes, expanding hearts and cutting ego has proven to be the savior as far as I am concerned. So talking about the watering of the coconut garden, now, if all of you know, Anantapur is situated in an area which is drought prone, and the coconut garden, as the name suggests, is which has a very exhaustive water needs to water. I don't remember exactly how many trees were there, but definitely they were in three digits. So, and mind you, there was no hose pipe and taps there. And as part of our duties, we would all come down with our buckets, form a human chain right from the source of the water way up to the last tree, and we would, pass the filled up buckets and water the garden. Coming to what is the lesson behind it? Uh, a coordinated and consistent team effort which resulted in flourishing and thriving coconut garden in a drought prone area. If this can happen, so just imagine what a teamwork can achieve, uh, is anybody's imagination. So these were to do with certain hostel tasks. And another learning that I would really like to share is that when my parents were finalizing my wedding, so a proposal had come from a serving army officer in the armed forces, and he insisted that he wanted to speak to the girl. So my father, with his background, he was hell bent that he wouldn't allow his daughter to meet the prospective boy. But unfortunately for him, he had to relent because this was the demand from the boy directly, and my father could not say no to this. So on the particular day, the boy came, and after the brief pleasantries, we were both left alone, and you know, the so-called interaction turned into an interview. So, starting from questions like, are you okay to get married to an army officer, to why are you agreeing to get married to an army officer? Because for him, a doctor marrying an army officer, he felt, the professions did not match. And then suddenly the question came as to, what if you are in a get together, in a party, and somebody is drinking? So, in our family, even in the extended families, the distant extended families, nobody had ever even talked about having drinks, leave alone having it. So I was like, I don't know how I gave all those answers because I was not prepared for all these. And I said, somebody is drinking as long as that person is not bothering me. It's just like, yes, somebody is drinking, let the person drink. How am I concerned about it? So then the next question came as, what if you are in a party and your husband is drinking? So I said, well, just like somebody else is drinking, if my husband is also drinking, as long as I am not being disturbed and bothered, it's none of my business. If he wants to drink, he can drink. So then the third question came, which really shook me, was that he said, what if somebody comes to your house and you're expected to serve drinks? So my answer was that, well, I don't even know the etiquettes of serving drinks. I don't even know how to serve drinks. And I don't even know the differences between various drinks. And I've not seen drinks other than in pictures. So, well, but if I am expected to serve drinks, maybe I will learn. But as of now, I do not know anything about it. So then he went on to talk, and he said, he was narrating that, when they were in an exercise in some jungles as part of their routine army duties, there was nothing to eat, and they caught hold of some snakes, and there was no fire, and there was some fire lighting, and they cooked the snake there, chopped it, and ate it. So these kind of stories he was narrating. So I was a medical doctor, so I was not scared of, I had dissected many rodents for that matter. So it didn't scare me. I was like, in a very detached manner, I was listening to what he said, and there was no reaction from my side. So later on, after he left, as it would have been natural for any family, my parents, my brother, they were very keen to ask, what happened, what did he say, and all that. So I narrated all these things. So my brother, who is incidentally also an alumni of Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Puttaparthi campus, so he said, Nidhi, what if they come back and say that they are okay for this alliance? What would be your answer? So I said, well, it is for mummy and daddy to decide. But if mummy and daddy decide, and if they come back and say it's fine, that I'll also say, okay, whatever you decide. So that was something which my brother could just not accept. And he said, you have studied in Swami's college, you have what values and teachings you have got, and how can you just agree to get married to a person who's into drinking and who's into catching snakes and chopping them and eating them up and whatnot? If he said this much, how much he would be doing, and like he just could not comprehend. It was almost short of like accusing me that you have forgotten all Swami's teachings and all. So I just told my brother, I said, see, and mummy daddy were, of course, listening. They were there only. And I said, see, we have learned certain teachings which Swami has given us. And if I get married in a family where similar values are practiced, then where does the challenge lie for me? Whether I have learned those and whether I am practicing those teachings. uh, until and unless I go in an adverse situation, and there I am able to maintain whatever has been taught to me. So my father, who's a lawyer, and he said, "Yes, Nidhi, you have a point." And then he told my brother, "Don't worry, I think she'll be able to manage." And little did we know, or we got to know rather later, that it was my that prospective groom, now my husband, was actually very, very apprehensive when he heard that the girl he's going to meet has studied in Baba's college. So he was very skeptical that whenever he may propose to go for a party or socializing or whatever action he may propose, I may react saying, "Oh, Sairam, Sairam, this is something not good. This should not be done." I may start judging him for certain actions. So, in fact, he did not drink or take non-veg or anything, but it was only to test how I would react when he was narrating all those things to me. So that also reminded me of Swami's teaching when he said that, you take one step towards me and I will take 10 towards you. So these are certain examples which have helped me to become, you can say, where I am today as a professional, dealing with very, very vast or diverse clients and difficult situations. As I said just before we started, that right now also I am in a village, in a place, in a district, Chindwara of Madhya Pradesh, and it had been raining heavily, and things are not always, because I work in the development sector. So your personal life is totally different from the professional life, and you have to deal with certain situations. I've been training for almost 9 hours this morning, and that strength has come from Swami's teachings, and being at Anantapur, where at that time I could not understand when we used to say that Swami's colleges are like mini world, and they prepare you to go and face the world outside. And I would wonder at that time, if it's a mini world, means we are so secure. Swami is taking care of everything. Outside world is going to be very difficult. It was only after I left Anantapur, I joined medical college and then came into the profession, that I could relate to what I just shared with you, that like expanding your hearts, what it meant, cutting your egos, what it meant, or what was the real meaning of teamwork, that we watered the coconut garden, and we what teamwork means here in real life when we are working with various team members or partners, and even what it means to be taking one step towards Swami, and then he really takes 10 towards you.